You want to be unstoppable? Unshakable? The kind of person who walks through chaos with clarity? Then you must first remove the deadliest toxin of all, negativity. Because there's a war going on. Not out there, but in here. And the enemy? It doesn't have a face. It doesn't scream. It doesn't strike. It whispers. And its name is negativity. We weren't born with it. It snuck in, through unhealed wounds, unmet expectations, and words we never deserved to hear, but somehow believed anyway. But if we don't confront it, if we don't purge it, it begins to govern us from the shadows. You want to be powerful? Start here. You cannot conquer the world until you conquer your own mind. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that's exactly where the purge begins. 1. Stop worshiping the pain. Pain is real. Yes. But suffering. Suffering is the story we wrap around that pain again and again, like a crown of thorns we place on our own heads. We replay betrayal like a broken record. We nurse insults as if they're trophies. We whisper to ourselves, "I wasn't enough." But that's not remembrance. That's poison. We have to stop romanticizing our wounds. Stop calling them truth. When they're simply open cuts, we refuse to let heal. Let the scar form. Let it remind you, sure, but never let it define you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them." And that judgment? It's yours. You own it. You can rewrite it. 2. Kill the inner critic with discipline. Negativity has a voice. You know it well. It says, "You're too weak. You're too late. You're too broken." Worst of all, it sounds just like you. But hear this. It is not you. It's a parasite, living rent-free in the attic of your soul. You don't silence it by yelling louder. You silence it with action, with discipline, with showing up even when it's hard. When you rise early, when you stick to your habits, when you train your body, resist your urges, and master your routine. You are not just building a better life. You are killing the voice that said you never could. Seneca warned, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." So what do? We train the imagination to be our ally, not our executioner. And we train it daily, like mental warriors. 3. Burn the need for external validation. Here's a truth no one tells you. Most negativity doesn't come from failure itself. It comes from the perception of failure, measured in someone else's eyes. We crave approval. We chase likes. We seek applause. But every time we do, we're renting out pieces of our soul, cheaply. You want to be unstoppable? Then you must belong to yourself. And remember, the man who walks his own path will always be misunderstood by those who've never left the herd. Now that you've begun shedding negativity and no longer let emotion control your every move, a new kind of silence sets in. Not emptiness, but a powerful stillness within. And in that stillness, let them whisper, let them judge, let them mock. You weren't made for them. You weren't born to fit into their expectations. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to dim your light just to blend in with their shadows. Monimus Rufus once taught, "The man who has practiced philosophy as a cure for his own soul becomes strong enough to help others." That is the path. Heal inward, and you will shine outward. 4. Refuse to let emotion dictate action. Anger, jealousy, bitterness. These aren't signs of strength. They are signs of slavery. Slavery to impulse. Slavery to what others say, what others do. Slavery to the outer world controlling your inner world. Every time you act from anger, you're telling life one thing: I'm still not free. A true master of self doesn't react. He responds. Between stimulus and response, there is always a pause, a sacred space. And that is where true power lives. What truly belongs to you? As the Stoics taught, we do not fear pain. We do not fear insults. We do not chase after praise. Because none of those things truly belong to us. What belongs to us is our reason, our judgment, and our will, Seneca wrote. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Negativity, then, isn't an enemy. It is a test, and your calm, your self-control, your refusal to lash out, that is your answer. You are no longer a puppet of emotion. You are the master of it. When you no longer flinch at offense, when you no longer explode in anger or crave external approval, you become something far rarer than powerful. You become untouchable. And now, as the noise fades and silence returns, ask yourself, what kind of man walks through fire without screaming? What kind of soul refuses to break, even when the world throws its worst? You already know the answer. It is the one who has trained his mind like a blade, sharpened through pain, discipline, and restraint. So if this voice spoke to something buried deep within you, a part of yourself you've long silenced, don't ignore it again. Walk away from weakness. Step out of the chaos and become the kind of person who is respected in silence and feared without a word. Because in the end, one truth remains. Those who master themselves rule the world. If this message spoke to your soul, don't let it fade away. Tap like to let us know it mattered. And hit subscribe to continue walking the path of calm, clarity, and inner strength. One Stoic step at a time. This isn't just a channel. It's a journey inward. Welcome to Stoic Living Today.